and Christian against William Regal and Vladimir Kozlov.
That's who it was. It's still not loading.
Yeah, I got
Mind you, I have a cable modem.
Well, here's the problem with ECW is they're on the West Coast tonight. I forgot about that. So we are not going to have spoilers until later. ECW is actually going to air live tonight on Sci-Fi, and they're going to tape SmackDown after it. I apologized earlier. I totally forgot that they were on the West Coast. So
I like that, though. I like ECW live. It's a little bit unpredictable, and WWE has a chance to showcase. And I really think, too, is you'll start seeing some newer, younger faces debut. We know that AAA wrestler Los Cajas Jr., Los Cajas Jr., recently signed with the WWE, and he's not going to be put into the market. He's actually going to be the young market that is down south. He's definitely going to be on one of the shows, and wouldn't surprise me if we see him start within ECW.
Hey, I tell you what, we got to fly because you got to jump out of here at 8:30. So let's just we'll just recap the matches because I want to talk a little bit about the draft on WZROnline.com before you take off on me. So we had John Cena won by submission over The Miz. You know, we talked about that earlier in hour number one, where I thought, you know, out of the two matches, I think The Miz should have won one of them because John Cena is going into a world title. It seems like he's going into the world title picture here after next week. So I think Miz should have at least took the Raw match, if not the pay-per-view match. Then we had a Divas match: Mickie James, Beth Phoenix, Rosa Mendez, and Kelly. Rosa is just way too green for me. She's brutal to watch. Maurice, I swear they do it as a joke to put her on commentary. It's horrible. It's absolutely brutal to listen to. It's got to be some sort of rib backstage. That's my only thinking on it. They know that she sucks. Vince puts her out there and gets a laugh out of it. That's the only thing. Otherwise,
well,
they would
she's
not.
She's a champion, so she has to. I mean, this is not the first time that they put her up behind the mic.
Right.
I kind of like her personality. You know, she's like that blonde, stuck-up girl, and just like her face is just that. Oh, I just want to slap you. You know,
right,
and I think that's the karma that she's trying to really generate.
She's definitely hot, you know, and she's got the French accent.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh man, she is too. Then they did the things. I don't know if they still date, but she used to date The Miz at one point, but that was a while ago. So I don't know if that's still continuing on. It may be because they did they always do those backstage segments, and I swear that some of that stuff is a rib as well. Maybe I look into things too much, but I don't know. Whatever, but they used to date. I know that for sure. And then what else? We had the Big Show against Kofi Kingston. This ended on a draw, double count out by both guys. And then in our main event, we had Randy Orton versus Evan Bourne, who was up first, Jack Swagger, who was up second, and Mark Henry, who we'll talk about Mark Henry, who seems like he's in for a little bit of a push, huh? Although next week's Raw they didn't do much. They put him in a match with Cody Rhodes or something next week. You know, I heard his music and I knew it had to be someone big, and I don't mean big as in big name, but someone that's going to dominate the match. Right.
And
a Kane or a Khali or.
I was actually saying to myself, Kane. That's who I thought we may have seen, but then, you know, looking at the pay-per-view, saying, oh, well, he just returned back, they're going to keep him on SmackDown. But regardless, it's a good choice. Mark Henry comes in and does what he does. It gets the job done. Does he turn face moving forward? If he does turn face, and then who are you going to put him against? He's a big boy, and if it's pushed correctly and if it's done correctly, I kind of like to see him maybe take a little step back and play kind of like that Diesel role, maybe, to be a bodyguard of maybe Evan Bourne, like them two got, together. Because you remember back in the days, man, Mark Henry had some funny-ass skits when he was with the Nation, and then when he broke up with the Nation, he had some really funny skits with Chyna and Mae Young, so.
Yeah. Oh, Mae Young. Oh, no. Let's not go back to that angle, man. Yeah, but we'll see what they do with Mark Henry. Next week they put him in a match with Cody Rhodes, and Now he's over on Raw Sexual Chocolate, baby. R-Dub in the chat room. That's awesome. Sexual Chocolate back in those days, man, no doubt. So that was Monday Night Raw from last night. We'll see what they do with Mark Henry. You know, I don't expect him to be in the main event picture for too long. You know, they did something last night, and then next week they got him in a match with Cody Rhodes, I would believe. So we'll see what they do with him after that. Now, that was Monday Night Raw. Sorry we rushed through that real quick, but Jose's going to leave me in about 8 minutes, and then I see California's on the line, and everybody that used to be on the line, they hung up. Maybe we should start taking a few calls in hour number 1, and then there's some call waiting. See, every freaking week, dude, I tell these people,
is it your mother?
Dude, do not call. Don't call me. See,
but they always do, though. They always do.
Every freaking week, dude. No matter, it's always someone, and it's a different person every single time. But whatever. I see Callie on the line, and like I said, man, maybe in hour number 1 because we had a lot of people lined up, and now I've got one caller. You know what I mean? And we had about 6.
I just got an email too. It looks like game is still on, so that's what I have. I mean, but you can always. I mean, worst case scenario, if you got a couple of calls after 8:30, you know, you can take some of those calls and
that's
finish
what I'm
the
saying.
show.
I had them. I had about 6 different callers. Now I got one. So if you guys called and you hung up, call back 724-444-7444. Call ID number is 30273, followed by the pound key. And as soon as Jose leaves me here in about 7 minutes, I'll take the very few calls that we have, and then we'll wrap this shindig up, and we'll see you next week, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, Tuesday night, almost, leading you guys into ECW. All right, Jose, the WWE drafts, they announced them last night on WZROnline.com, immediately following Raw. We had, headed to Monday Night Raw, Evan Bourne, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, which we knew, and then Gail Kim and Alicia Fox. Give me your quick thoughts. Evan Bourne, well, I'll give you mine first. Evan Bourne, I think he gets lost in the mix, and I know you don't feel that way. You know, you think they see him differently, and my hope is that they do. You know what I mean? My hope is that he doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but he's on Raw. He's with the big boys now, if you will, and I feel like he gets lost. Mark Henry, we just talked about him, what they do with him. Jack Swagger going to be in a program with MVP here in the next few weeks. Gail Kim, I like that. You know, I haven't seen much of her work over on SmackDown, and Alicia Fox I could care less about.
It's funny because everything that you said, the biggest pick for me out of all of those, honestly, is Gail Kim. She is so underrated right now on the SmackDown roster. She brings some really good credibility for the women's division. I mean, the lady, the female, the diva, debuted her first night and became champion. And at that time, it was a record. It was never done before that a female debuted for the first time on TV, of course, and won the title. So, you know, congratulations to her that she, you know, was lucky enough to be taken from SmackDown and put to Raw. But I completely agree with you with the rest of the guys. That's smart moves, and I'm actually glad that they ended up going to Raw than to SmackDown.
Headed to SmackDown are Matt Hardy, Finlay, Tyson Kidd, Natalya, and David Hart Smith. My thoughts on this, Matt Hardy, you know, with the rumors of Jeff possibly leaving WWE, you know, if they were to do something, I know Matt Hardy's a heel right now, Jeff Hardy's a face, da-da-da-da-da-da, but there's always that possibility that the two of those guys could get back together. I'm not saying now, but I'm saying at some point with the both of those guys over on SmackDown. I like that idea, Matt Hardy over on SmackDown. I didn't like him on Raw. I felt he got mixed up. I think he would have been better fit for ECW, to be honest. Send another big name over to ECW, but SmackDown works for me. Finlay, you know, doesn't he seemed kind of, he was in the mix for some time there on ECW, but I think that angle ran its course, and it freshens things up for him over on SmackDown. The Hart Foundation, you know, I like them over on ECW, and I would have liked to see them stay on ECW, establish themselves a little bit more, but nonetheless, they're going over to SmackDown. They're getting seen by more people over there now, and maybe there are plans for a bigger push for them, which is good news. So I don't have a problem with that as well, you know.
I'm excited to see those guys move on from ECW to Raw. I think right now, SmackDown. I think right now the reality speaks for itself. Those three need a larger audience platform to get over what they're trying to come up with. and I think it's a great and awesome idea that they were traded to SmackDown. And again with
it's a bigger audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, you're gaining about another 900,000 viewers, exposing this new group of individuals, Heart Foundation individuals.
Well,
and the same thing with Fit Finley. Fit Finley was probably just another throw-in, allowing some of the younger talent within ECW to blossom a little bit more, take him away, puts him back onto SmackDown.